Hey there, Dale here with Pacific Sun Technologies. Today's video is going to be about SolarEdge's Power Optimizer. Yeah, that's this guy right here. And if you're not familiar with what a Power Optimizer is, it's a device that's attached under every solar panel and helps regulate the voltage of the individual modules so they can act independently like a micro-inverter system. It's pretty cool technology, and SolarEdge for a long time was the only manufacturer with this type of technology, but things are changing, and I thought it would be a cool thing to show you what's inside of this. I've never taken one apart, and I think it'll be really cool for the both of us to see what's inside a power optimizer. And if you're interested in seeing what's inside an Enphase microinverter, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, because we got a couple of those that we had to replace due to just them going bad, and I plan on taking one apart. So if you're interested in seeing what's inside a microinverter, then subscribe to the channel by clicking the button down below, and of course hit the little bell icon. That way you receive a notification when that video goes live. So let's get in to this optimizer. All right, so as you can see, this is a power optimizer. I got an overhead camera, and this is your input. So the PV module connects into here, and then these lines will connect to each individual module to create a string. Now, in that string, the panels are going to act independently of each other, and you know, it's pretty cool tech. But a lot of manufacturers have teamed up with this organization called SunSpec Alliance, and they have developed their own communication protocol that's kind of like, my best analogy is, consider like SolarEdge having their Apple ecosystem, and then Android or SunSpec being like Android, where it's an open source ecosystem. So it looks like there's not a whole lot on this device. So we're gonna jam these tabs up. I do have an iFixit kit, and I'm assuming I'm gonna need the heat gun to get into this thing, because it is NEMA 4X rated, which is pretty extreme, and I would imagine it's filled with freaking glue. Oh, there's some screws right here that I probably need to take off first. So let's, you know, the beauty of this is a defective unit, so I'm not going to worry about putting it back together. Obviously, we're not going to be reselling it because it's defective. One thing worth noting that I think is kind of cool here is, you know, you can see these QR codes right here. Now, there would have been one right here. As you can see, it's missing, and that's a sticker that we remove off of the device, and that allows us to map it for monitoring purposes, so that way you as the consumer and us as the installer can see each individual module and check its performance, as well as make sure the optimizers are working properly. If, like this one, gets defective, you know, then it can be replaced very easily, because we can see exactly which one we need to replace. And it doesn't affect the rest of them around it, just like microinverters. Now, a lot of people argue that SolarEdge isn't as good as Enphase microinverters. It really depends on what you're looking to achieve, in my opinion. Enphase is a great product. We definitely promote it over SolarEdge, depending on your circumstance. Now, why do we like Enphase? Well, you can expand on the systems very easily and inexpensively. We can just keep adding panels, so long as your electrical panel can support the additional solar modules, you know, because there are some calcs that have to be done. As for this looks like it's a As for SolarEdge, you know, their direction in which they're taking the company is pretty unique. They really have been innovating on their DC inverters, because this is a DC optimizer. So it's just DC to DC. All it is allowing the modules to act independently from one another. And they're still a central inverter, which is why people argue that Enphase is better because there's no central point of failure. And it's like, you know, the combiner box could be a point of failure if you want to consider that. It really could be, but oh, there it goes. There we go. Looks like we did. Whoop. All right, so that's the bracket. It's kind of just secured on there, so we're going to set that aside. Now this looks like that was on there, and it's, as you can see, is filled with something. Rubber, silicon, I don't know. So that's kind of why I got the heat gun out. I figured this thing was going to be filled with glue or something, kind of like a Samsung Note. Now, if you or someone you know is interested in going solar, please visit us online to receive a free quote. We have an awesome proposal tool that allows us to give you a bid remotely. We call it our hassle-free quote because, you know, unlike many of the sales approaches in other industries and even in the solar industry, you know, we're not here to force you into anything and give you a quick sale just to get the project done and over with. I mean, we want to educate you about what you're purchasing. You go out to the car dealership, what do? You ask questions. You don't just go, okay, my budget's $10,000, what can I buy? Now, I'm sure in some circumstances you do that, and we all have, but in most circumstances, you know what you want and you know what you're looking for. You're looking for certain things. You're looking for a certain model. Now, with solar, it's no different, and you should spend a little bit more time educating yourself about what you're purchasing. You'd be surprised about how many customers we service that we didn't install their solar system, but the company they bought it from went out of business. And we asked them, what did you buy? They go, I don't know. How do you not know? Then they don't have any paperwork. They have no idea what the inverter technology is, what the solar panels are, how old the system is. Well, sometimes they remember. They're like, oh yeah, I think I bought it in 2012 or 2016. But it's just surprising now how people just, they're like, okay, you know, they just look so much at the dollar value. And that's an important thing to look at because that has to do with your return on investment. But at the same token, you should kind of care a little bit about what technology you have, especially the solar manufacturer. Now, I say that because there's been systems that we've gone out and serviced and I've never heard of the solar panel. We've reached out to the manufacturer to try and do a warranty claim and never heard from the manufacturer. So, you know, it's give and take. You can have high quality products from reputable manufacturers. You just need to educate yourself a little bit, which isn't a bad thing to do. And we have a great, obvious channel that you're watching right now to help you learn about different solar panels and inverters, and I'm tearing apart an optimizer. I didn't see any videos on this. Now, I didn't do too much searching online, but I didn't really see anything. Now, I can feel this is getting warm, and there's definitely glue under this thing, so I'm gonna probably have to keep heating it up. But I'm trying to pry it open a little bit. Now, back to what I was saying earlier about Enphase and SolarEdge, and some people feel Enphase is better. Now, like I said, we definitely recommend Enphase a lot more than SolarEdge. There's a couple reasons, but if a customer asks for something specific, then we recommend SolarEdge. Now, what might one of those specific things be? Well, say a customer wants an electric charger. Well, SolarEdge has an inverter that allows for EV charging. So you can charge directly from the solar array to your EV, which gives you like almost no energy loss. A lot of people don't realize that when you're going from alternating current, AC, to DC, direct current, you have efficiency loss. You know, you're converting this energy, you're going to lose some of it. With SolarEdge's technology and what they're planning, what they're moving forward into the future, they've dubbed it Prisma technology. Right now they're on their HD wave technology. But the Prisma technology would be your central inverter that you can connect your electric vehicle to. You can, oh, we're getting somewhere. Connect your electric vehicle to, oh, well, the heat sink is coming off. Okay. So I figured this shroud was a heat sink. And, oh, yeah, it is. So this is a giant heat sink. I kind of figured that. And it looks like under here we have some thermal compound. And this is non-static plastic. And it looks like it's got a waterproof channel right here. It's kind of nice, you know, pretty well. We're gonna leave that for right now because I really want to get into this bottom piece. And you can see it's kind of prying open. So with the Prisma technology, like I was saying, it's a central inverter. Obviously your solar system connects to it, but it goes even further than that. They're looking at it as your energy hub for your home. So your solar connects to it, and you'll be able to connect an electric vehicle charger to it. And it goes even further. You can connect a battery system to it. So it's one inverter that you can charge your electric vehicle from, you can add batteries to, and I think they mentioned they're looking at like hot water heaters, so you can, you know, do hot water heating directly with the inverter. Now, I'm not a big fan of an electric hot water heater, but that's really cool. They got some other technology. I think there's some home automation features like outlets or something that they're looking to integrate. So that's the cover. That was definitely stuck in there. You can see there's some glue templates here. I'm gonna set that down. Now, what are we looking at in here? This, just so you know, is a P370. So that's this model. It is a newer generation. And it looks like we have some screws right here, which hopefully my iFixit kit will have. I definitely enjoy my toolkit. It's very helpful on electronics like these, and primarily for computers. I mean, that's really what I use it for. And while this isn't sponsored by iFixit, I highly recommend getting a kit if you like to tinker with things. So you can't really see or tell, or maybe you can. This is mold. This is rubber. This is like a giant thing of rubber. So what I think they do is they actually assemble this and close it, you know, and then they inject it, because you can kind of see this is this little dimple. So they fill this whole thing with rubber. That's probably how it's getting its rating for the NEMA 4X. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get this completely off or out, because this is a lot of freaking rubber, and it's in there. Even if I heated it, I don't think it's just going to just come out. I wasn't sure what to expect inside this thing, you know. Yeah, but I wanted to know if there's, oh, there it is. So I can see there's a PCB board down there. So I'm trying not to break anything. Now, why might I have this? Well, we had some defective units that we had to replace. It does happen. The technology, while it's great, they just, you know, it fails. It happens. That's just the name of the game with anything. But their failure rate compared to microinverters, it's about the same. You know, people want to argue one way or the other. I will admit that Enphase, when it comes to servicing microinverters over SolarEdge's equipment, my big issue with them is SolarEdge is such a pain in the butt for an installer. If we didn't install your system and you need it to be serviced, whew, it's a freaking mission to get the system serviced. So I took this off, very simple. It was just held on by 2 screws. They're right here. So really simple. And I can kind of see there, it looks like a board. I can see there's definitely a PCB board under here. I'm trying to pull away more of this rubber. Man, it is a mission. So SolarEdge, you know, with their technology, like I was saying, I think they're really cool with the Prisma. But like I said, my biggest complaint when servicing their systems that aren't installed by the original installer, they definitely are not very helpful to the company that's trying to do this. It's kind of funny that, you know, you have this multi-million-dollar company that, so I'm going to pause for a minute. Yeah, that's a CPU, APU, an ASIC chip, an ASCI chip, I don't know, but there's definitely a computer chip. This might just be communications. Looks like there's a capacitor right here, which I figured. These are just coils, so I'm guessing these are DC to DC coils. Like I said, all this is doing is regulating the voltage of each individual module so they act independently of each other. So when one gets shaded, the rest of them aren't affected. This has a 99.9% or 99.6% efficiency rating, so it's almost 100%. You're not really losing any DC power from the solar array or individual modules as they're passing through it. So I keep getting interrupted while I'm trying to film this video. It's one of those mornings where everybody seems to be having a problem. So I don't think I'm going to get all the way down to this PCB board. I mean, this rubber is like on there, but you can definitely see there's a PCB board under here. We definitely know there's at least one transistor. There might be another one over here. There's definitely a chip. I would imagine this is wired the same way as that way. What I want to do though, we got these little screws here, so I want to take them out. Let's see if SolarEdge is using some proprietary. Oh, no, nothing too fancy. We can take that one. And this one. What's that? So if we turn it around, I'm going to pull this plastic off. Oh, okay, so there's some thermal compound on this. This looks that might be a heat spreader. You know, it's thin. I mean, that's some really thin thermal compound. And this is just a thermal pad, it looks like. And yeah, there you go. I mean, look at how thin that is. If you've ever taken apart a GPU or any type of computer, there's usually thermal compounds in there. And that's what that is. So there's some more rubber on this back plating. I want to see if there's like some other screws in here. Oh, no. Okay, that must be what the screws on the other side. So you can see. So I believe the screws on the other side actually screw into this. So this might lift up then. Oh, it does. Okay, so this, oh crap. Okay, so what we have here is some actual thermal paste. So this is a heat spreader. It's just an aluminum heat spreader, it looks like. Nothing too fancy. Given the cost of SolarEdge's optimizer, I would have expected like the heat spreader to be, I don't know, copper maybe? I mean, crying out loud. It is on a roof. I get this piece back here is a giant heat sink, but I mean, it could definitely pass the heat a lot better if it was. So it looks like the compound, as you can see, it's on a lot of the circuitry down here. So I'm guessing this is where a lot of the heat is coming from. These must be doing something. I mean, it is DC power, it's on a roof, it definitely can get pretty hot. I don't think I'm going to be able to push, nope. Yeah, there's not much give. It makes sense why these really aren't repairable. You usually just, when they're bad, you replace them. They have a 25-year warranty. So how often do they get replaced? You know, not that often. I mean, it happens, but you know, we maybe replace maybe 10 a year, so like one a month. I mean, in correlation to jobs, it seems to be more the older optimizers, like some of the first or second, probably second gen ones, or maybe first gen ones. First and second gen, optimizers we've replaced quite a bit. This is, I don't even know if they do generations because they just keep upping the wattage on them. So this is, like I said, a 370 watt. There's 400 watts. There's 500 watts, I believe. They get pretty high in wattage. And I would imagine all that, it's just something in here that would change a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I'm going to be able to tear it down much more, but at least you get to kind of see what an optimizer is and what's inside of it. So you have a PCB board, you have some copper coiling, you have some microprocessor in here. It obviously has a heat sink to dissipate the heat. It's cool tech, and I mean, it is completely waterproof. This thing, there's no way water was going to get inside this. Now, yeah, I think it's really fun to check this stuff out. And if you're someone interested in getting a quote, please visit us online. Check us out at pacificsuntech.com. We have some great promotions going on this month, and I think you're going to be excited about what we have to offer. We have great battery backup options, and we obviously have solar options. Whether you're looking at SolarEdge and you're interested in the Prisma technology, where you have one inverter to charge your electric vehicle, to add batteries to power your electric hot water heater, we can help you with that. Or if you're interested in Enphase and you want us to install micro-inverters, we can do those too. Those are definitely our most popular inverter technology that we offer our customers. But yeah, definitely visit us online. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Until next time.